So I'm trying to address certain questions on creativity, innovation and research. Let me ask a question as to whether 1 plus 0 is equal to 1 is a discovered truth or it is an intuitive truth. The answer to this question would be that this was never a truth by itself. Rather, this was created as a truth by some people. That means it was axiomatically laid down. Now, many of us would agree to the fact that many of the norms and cultures are also laid down axiomatically. So what is an action basically? An action is a principle which is not to be questioned for its basis. Rather, it becomes a basis for other things to be explained on the basis of it. Now, just as we do not question the norms and culture, we just obey them. In the same way, we do not question that the validity of 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. We just use this truth to do our calculations, to do our businesses, to run our world. Now, many of the theories of science are basically laid axiomatically, in the sense that truth may not be there, it is discovered or it may be invented, and the components of research would require creativity, innovation and research. Let us look at what creativity amounts to. This model of creativity says that at the intersection of 3 pillars lies creativity. That is, we need expertise, that is domain knowledge, and creative thinking skills and task motivation. Now, if any of the pillars go amiss, the creativity would start distanciated. It will not be able to be nurtured. Similarly, the innovation requires again 3 pillars. That is the visibility, which is a technical aspect, desirability, which is a human aspect, and viability, which is a business aspect. At the intersection of these 3 lies innovation, but if any of the pillars is missing, other things might happen, but not innovation. Now, there is a cause and effect relationship between innovation and creativity, in the sense that creativity fuels innovation, and innovation also impacts creativity. Then just look at what is common in these 3 areas, that is creativity, innovation and research. We find that in innovation and research, we create value, and in creativity and research, we focus on exploratory things. So there is something common between the 2. But if all of these 3 are present, then we are led to some new novel products, services. But some of us even perceive research as rocket science. And some also think that once we talk about formulating problems, then we are trying to create problems. It's not to be perceived in that sense. As a matter of fact, the problems of mathematics, which were solved 20 years before, were used 20 years later in maybe rocket science. It's not that the problem we confront today and we'll try to sit down and solve that problem. That's not the case. We need to anticipate those problems and attempt to solve those problems. However, the deeply entrenched vision of respect for what is precise, rigorous and algorithmic, that made us to think with disdain or suspicion about any theory which is trying to arrive at an accommodation with the pervasive imprecision of the real world. As a matter of fact, the picture is otherwise. We need to be accommodative about precision and imprecision both. So if you look at this figure, person A is telling person B something very precisely, that this much of mass is falling on your head and this much of acceleration. Now this description, although is very precise, yet it is meaningless in the sense that the person B will no more be able to see the entire information and he will be killed even before seeing the entire information. So, rather than this, approximate or more relevant more significant in the sense that you can perceive it and get excited. Let's take another example. The distance from my place to this TEDxSLIET place is, let us say, 150 kilometers. Now this description is very precise about the distance from traverse, but actually this distance will never ever be traversed because we might have to negotiate fix on the road, some standing vehicles and moving vehicles on the road, and this distance will never be traversed. So what is the point in specifying it so precisely? Let's take another case. An aircraft is struck an eagle. Now the controller on the board is saying, please wait, I am making a very precise control action computation to be exerted onto the actuator. But consider that the aircraft goes crashing, killing all the people on the board. So it will be irrelevant, insignificant to compute such a precise control action. Therefore, a case is made out that we need to have a truck with uncertainty and imprecision. In the research also, we need to have a truck with imprecision and uncertainty. We need to work in the uncertain environment, and then we are left to fruitful research results. Now, let us consider that the whole knowledge of the universe is described in this study, meaning thereby that there is some sector called KA. You know that you know. For example, I know electrical engineering, and I know that I know electrical engineering. However, there is another sector which says you know that you don't know. For example, I don't know how to fly an aircraft, but I know that I don't know how to fly an aircraft. Now, there is a whole lot of area which pertains to engineering area you don't know that you don't know. Now, that is typically the area of research. That is, we don't know something and we don't even know that we don't know something, and therefore there is the necessity of a guide who can navigate our journey through the research process. Now, we also talk about paradigm shifts in research. Basically, what is the paradigm shift? A big leap forward, such a big leap forward, or such a fundamental alteration in new concept, material or product, such that the early development in that field fails in previous field. So that is our paradigm shift. Now what research is not is also a question with the beginners. So research basically is not doing something which is already done or rehashing something which is already done. It's also not vocation. It's not laying hands on to something which is there on the shelf and getting it. Rather than that, it is a seed coming to fruition in the form of a tree. The whole tree comes up from a small seed. It's in that shape. It's not combining all papers into one paper. That doesn't amount to research. Now, I just want to make a case that for physical systems, they cannot perceive the future inputs, the inputs which are yet to come to the physical systems. They are dependent on the inputs that they will already receive. While the human beings are anticipatory in nature, they can even perceive the inputs which are yet to come in the future. That amounts to say that we are intrinsically anticipatory. And if that is the case, we need to make a formal, more extensive use of futuristic thinking to make our present better. So, and this doesn't, basically, if you look at the derivative control employment in any strategy, we find that the derivative action is able to stop the oscillations. And so would it happen in life, and so would it happen in research also. That you are able to find derivative action, derivative anticipatory abilities, you are able to make better control systems. Now, how to start research is a fundamental question with many of the beginners. The advice in this respect is that we start with a survey of practically find out what has already been done and what is yet to be done. So we call it as offshoots. We generate offshoots from each of the papers and we club those offshoots into one problem formulation. That problem, once formulated, is solved over a period of time depending on the complexity of the problem. And one advice is also to rely on randomization in order to improve our creativity. Now, although we believe that randomness will not lead to profitable solutions, but yet in nature, randomness is already being employed to find out fruitful solutions. If you look at the operators of the genetic algorithm, they all imply randomness plus directiveness. So, there is a technique by father of modern brainstorming that states about Stanford. This technique, basically, we can look at certain visuals and try to decipher what is this technique all about. We can always substitute a battery with a solar panel. It will also supply the same amount of power, similar amount of power. The masala in a dosa can be substituted with some other preparation. So we are basically substituting. In another case, indoor learning and outdoor learning can be combined with many things to deliver a complete solution of learning. Similarly, an ice cream cone can be converted, can be combined with a folder dosa to deliver a dosa in a cone, and a guard muscles to be adapted with a beam guard who already has some detection mechanism or some carbon. Similarly, the adaptation can be done with dosa into a dosa with a smiley on a status. And we can modify a desktop PC to a handheld PC, or we can modify a giant dosa into small dosa, several dosas. Now, we can also put other users. For example, the coconut shell is meant to contain coconut, but it could be put with many other beautiful users. The layers of dosa can be converted into a pizza as well, with some toppings thereon. Now, the ground can be eliminated and you can have a PC for the same plane or the same game, and the plates could be dispensed with and you can have a handheld dosa. Now, you can also rearrange certain things to deliver certain new things. For example, the frowning man can be converted into a smiling man by way of the first rearrangement. Or if you get your head out to one side or the other side, you can proceed the other way down. Different picture. The third thing actually boils down to say that these three pillars of the human endeavor would contribute to economies in a large manner. Let us look at some data. The data says that the job share by IT-based industry, intellectual property intensive industries, was up to 27%, and the GDP contribution was up to 38%. On the other hand, for Europe, the same data was 37% and 45% GDP contribution. And the last line, the bottom line is that 85% of growth was fueled by innovation-driven industry. Over the period of 1870 to 1950, almost 70 years of period. And I will wind up this discussion by asking again a question as to what is the strength of this chain. The chain has different links in it. Each link's strength is separately given. Let's say the first first link can carry weight up to 8 kg, the next can carry up to 9 kg, 3 kg, and so on. What is the strength of the chain? The answer would be 3 kg, because the weakest link, once breaks, the chain would break. So we can conclude by saying that the strength of the chain is that of the weakest link in it. And if that is the case, makes sense to consider each one of us participating in the processes of innovation, creativity, and research. So thank you so much. That's it.